Installing the no-vent microfluidics on the Thermoscientific Trace 1300 series GC. The main components of the no-vent microfluidics system are the module, the mounting bracket, the no-vent microfluidics T, and pre-measured lengths of deactivated fused silica tubing. Included in your installation kit are several tools you will use to initially install the system and when you wish to change columns. Some additional tools will be required to complete the installation. These tools come standard in either the MS or the GC installation kit. Prior to installation, you should verify that your system is leak-free and functioning as expected. We recommend saving recent copies of a tune report and an air-water spectrum for future reference when trying to determine if you have a leak in your system. Using the instrument control software, shut down your system. Please refer to your user's manual for detailed shutdown information. Power off your MS and GC. Turn off all gas supplies at the source. Open the front door of the MS. Locate the vent valve and turn counterclockwise to vent. Please allow at least 5 minutes for the system to completely vent. Close the front door of the MS. Open the dummy module flap cover. Using a T20 Torx head screwdriver, loosen the indicated captive fixing screws. Lift the dummy module from the GC. Using a T20 Torx head screwdriver, remove the gas plug. Place the no-vent module in the GC. Using a T20 Torx head screwdriver, tighten the indicated captive fixing screws. Verify the module switch is in the off position. Close the module flap cover. Open the GC oven door. Install the mounting bracket in the GC oven. Ensure bracket placement allows for easy column installation and removal from the oven. Use 2 1/4-inch wrenches to secure the holder to the mounting bracket. Place the no-vent microfluidics T on the mounting bracket. The no-vent microfluidics system requires specific lengths of fused silica tubing and special ferrules to function properly. Locate the appropriately sized ferrules and tubing required for your carrier gas. You will need to attach a sill-flow nut and ferrule to each of the column ends that connect to the no-vent microfluidics splitter. Slide the sill-flow nut and ferrule onto the column end. Use a scoring wafer to trim the end of the column. Insert the end of the column into the sill-flow pre-swage tool. Attach the sill-flow nut onto the sill-flow pre-swage tool while keeping the tip of the column bottomed out. Use the sill-flow finger-tight pre-swage tool to tighten the sill-flow nut until the ferrule swages onto the column. Remove the pre-swage tool from the nut and inspect the column and ferrule for a proper connection. You will need to attach a transfer line nut and ferrule to one end of the tubing that will go into the MS transfer line. Please refer to your user's manual for ferrule recommendations. Wipe approximately 300 millimeters of the tubing with a methanol-soaked tissue. Slide the appropriate nut and ferrule onto the end of the tubing. Insert the tubing into the column measuring tool until the end of the tubing is visible. Use a 5/16 inch wrench and a 1/4 inch wrench to tighten the column nut until the ferrule swages onto the column. Use a scoring wafer to trim the end of the column at the indicated position. You will need to attach a seal-tight, finger-tight ferrule to the end of the tubing that will go into the no-vent module. Slide the seal-tight, finger-tight ferrule onto the end of the tubing. Insert the tubing into the seal-tight, finger-tight pre-swage tool until the end of the tubing is visible. Attach a finger-tight nut to the pre-swage tool and tighten until the ferrule swages onto the tubing. Remove the pre-swage tool from the nut and inspect the column and ferrule for a proper connection. Trim the end of the column so that approximately 2 millimeters of column is visible past the end of the ferrule. You should now have your tubing and analytical column prepared for connection to the no-vent microfluidics T. Connect the sill flow end of the 75 micrometer ID tubing to the indicated position on the no-vent microfluidics T. Connect the other end of the 75 micrometer ID tubing to the no-vent module. Use a 1/4 inch wrench to connect the prepared end of the 170 micrometer ID tubing to the MS transfer line. Connect the sill flow end of the 170 micrometer ID tubing to the indicated position on the no-vent microfluidics T. Rotate the no-vent microfluidic support to allow access to the GC oven. Place the analytical column into the GC oven. Rotate the no-vent microfluidic support back into place. Install the analytical column into the injection port. Please refer to your user's manual for detailed information. Connect the sill-flow end of the analytical column to the indicated position on the no-vent microfluidics tee. Close the GC oven door. Open the MS door. Turn the vent valve clockwise to close. Close the MS door. Open the gas supply tanks. Power on the GC and MS. Configure the post column on your Trace 1300 series GC using the following values. Please refer to your user's manual for detailed information. Verify that the MS reaches good vacuum levels within 10 minutes. After 1 hour, look at air-water spectrum to determine if the installation was successful. Allow the MS to pump down for a total of 4 hours prior to tuning.